let's fast forward. Let's say the person has waited and now they're married. Which we all are married here at this table.
Yes.
And let's say that there's an expectation that you had, and maybe you've tried to be intimate with your spouse, and it's just not working out. You're not satisfied. How can you encourage someone who's experiencing that?
Okay, I think I'll speak first. And this isn't like me being transparent. And I'm sure my husband would be fine with me saying it. For us, the first year or so, it was difficult because of our work schedule. So I came in, and I think there's also preconceived notion that men have a higher sex drive than women, and that's not the case. Let me tell you, my sex drive is higher than my husband's. I'll say that, right? And we also have had different experiences coming into marriage. I was a virgin. So again, it was like coming in with this preconceived notion of this is how it's going to be and blah, 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 blah. And I had to, again, reframe my expectations to the person that was right in front of me, to the person that I chose to spend my life with. And, in that time, what was actually impacting it was also, he was working a really late schedule. So he would have to go to bed super early to be up early. And then I was working like at a decent time, but not having to go to bed so early. So my expectation is like, the night's going to be amazing. And then it's like by 9 o'clock comes, he's out.
Wow.
Right? And then it's like also, you want it to not only be at the same time, the same place, the same positions all the time. You want variety. But the reality of that was life sometimes gets in the way. So how do you communicate? And like, those are parts that, or things that you have to do. And sometimes we see on social media, or we see in movies, and you don't see the communication, you see them diving right in, somebody getting pushed up against something. It's like, that's not always the reality. I mean, you gotta communicate through that. Eventually, maybe it will become that. Right. There's different seasons and different flows. So what I would say to encourage you is, don't feel like, okay, my marriage is bad because the sex is not happening or it's not working out the way that I want it to work at this point. What I would say is that put it out in the open and also give yourself grace and communicate. This is what I would like to see. How can we work together to make this better? Maybe it's going to take a visit to the doctor or, looking at some other things to aid. That's between you guys, but that's what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good.
Anyone else want to add on to that?
I will jump in because I've been married for 13 years.
Yes.
And you know what? Even when you're 13 years, you're still not an expert. Because now you get comfortable.
Talk about it.
So, you've been through those moments where you're like, every minute, you gotta do it every minute. And then after the years go by, things changes, your body changes, you have children, your children are getting older. Sometimes you forget to focus on your husband because now you've just been accustomed to watching your children get older.
Right.
And then your man is like, honey, you forgot about me.
Wow.
I know I gave you those children, but now you have to remember me. So now it's a fact where you have to be like, okay, you have children in the house. You have to be mindful what you're screaming and everything and all that nice stuff. And also it's just at that point, it's like you've done a lot of things together sexually. Now you're gonna have to make it more fun. You have to become creative. Yes. Sometimes it's like, okay, let's go out for dinner and then we'll have a late night. Like, sit around the table and talk with a candle and some tea or some wine, and we'll talk about, how we're gonna spice up the relationship. So I remember one time we had to sit down and talk and say, how can we make our relationship, our sex life, and everything be a lot different. Because now we have to schedule. The older your marriage gets, and some people, they will agree. The older your marriage gets, the longer you've been married, like it seems like you have to schedule in sex time. Because it's like you're tired, you're getting older. And those are not excuses, but because of life and how things happen in life, it will cause you to forget about those moments that are so precious.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. As a more tenured person in marriage, 13 years, congratulations, that's amazing.
Thank you.
this is why I love the table, because we're all different experiences, different perspectives, different length of marriage, but we all have something different to bring to the table. I will say, for me, husband, I hope you are not upset about this, but when she mentioned scheduling, so I work Tuesday to Saturday now, and Shaq's pretty flexible with his schedule. Mondays are our days.
Are we interrupting your time?
No. But you know, him and I know Mondays. Don't call my husband, okay? Don't call him. Because that's our day to do whatever we need to do. If it's go on a date, like we literally had to schedule that time and prioritize Mondays as our day. Which is crazy because I didn't think I was going to like working Tuesday to Saturday, but I do because I get to spend that Monday with my husband.
That's awesome.
And if you're off on weekends, you have the kids still with you. But on Monday, we ship them off to school and we have the house, the time to ourselves, whatever, those few hours to ourselves. So to your point, when your spouse is a priority, you make time for that person, and that time fuels us for the rest of the week. We may not get to it all the time every single day in the week, but that time really keeps us until the next Monday, and then the next Monday, and then the next Monday. I will share that with you, ladies, to say, you know, you're right. Scheduling that time is super important. Yeah. Anything else you ladies want to say on the topic?
I would say just have fun.
I'm
with you as Mary out of my
Come on, I want to ask, you know, since you're a bit newer, how was it like at the beginning of marriage? Like, what was your like surprising moments, and what was like the ones where you're like, oh my god, I didn't know that this is gonna happen?
Yeah, I'll start.
Yeah, go.
So for me, maybe I watched too much movie, but
stop watching
the movies and the TV shows and the Bridgerton. But like, I thought it was gonna be like morning, afternoon, nighttime again, and we do that 7 days a week. No, that's not it. Like, I realized like there's like literally a balance. Like, life happens, and it's not going to be every single day. Maybe it's not going to be every single day twice a day. But what I've learned is just to literally be. I'm not very a shy person when it comes to people I'm really close with, so I tell them like, I don't like that, or, oh, no, let's do something else, or let's try something else, let's try something new, let's do this, let's do turn around, touch your girl, all the things, you know? So,
you're ahead of the game.
Communicate, yeah.
I don't know, I would say, for me in the beginning, so at the time that we got married, Nick and I actually started experiencing health challenges. I've never spoken about this, actually. Yeah, and it's something that I'm still navigating, but we realized on our honeymoon, we went on a staycation, that something wasn't right, because it wasn't happening. Yeah. And nobody talks about sex. You're kind of going in just thinking like, it's gonna happen. Like, once a day, twice a day, all the time, boom, boom, boom. Right. And it just was not happening. And on top of that, I wasn't comfortable because it had been my first time. Like, I was a virgin. And so, we had to navigate it. Thank God Nick is who he is, and he was so patient, because I had put so much pressure on myself. Like, I have to do this to please my husband. Like, he waited for this. We waited for this together. Like, he deserves this, and I want to give myself to him. It was a challenge, but thank God he was so patient. And over time, I started to realize like there were validities to why that wasn't happening, and the health challenges. And I realized I had a cyst, and so it was painful. But through his patience and through time and learning, I had to do my research and just learning to like relax and enjoy the moment and get comfortable being naked together without necessarily having sex. Like, intimacy is more than just the act of sex, you know? So for me, it was like, it was different. I felt like I had to navigate through that on my own. But then sex now is amazing. We were doing, and no, it's honestly amazing, and it's still growing. So I know that it's not like where it's always going to be. We're learning, and I'm thankful.
That's so honest. You know what? And it's so true. A lot of women don't talk about that beginning story because sometimes they're ashamed. And sometimes you would always hear the story, oh, it's the man that has the issue, right? And sometimes it could be just the woman. And a lot of times we don't know about actually checking ourselves, making sure that everything is okay before we get into the marriage. So that is something now, because a lot of people are getting married later on in life, in their 40s and having children in their 40s. I would admonish you, check your body out. Make sure everything is okay, because, there's going to be obstacles that will come. We say the vows, and some people are living the last part, some people are living the beginning, and, just make sure you check yourself out and you have a lot of communication with the person that you are.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because for us, the world knows, and this is by the grace of God, I kind of felt nudged, because before we had 2 losses when we were not even trying, but
just happened.
In marriage, it happened. We had 2 losses. And I had never heard anyone talk about miscarriages before I kind of mentioned it to the world. However long ago that was, I want to say it was like 2020. I knew nothing about it. And it happened, and I was freaking out. I thought something was wrong with me. Didn't think I was ever going to be able to have kids. And by the grace of God, it happened. But to your point, check yourself. And I think, I don't know if it's the Black community or what it is. Stigmas. Maybe you're scared to find something there. But it's better that you know that you're educated with resources on how to deal with whatever that is, versus struggling perhaps because you didn't know, right? You didn't take the time out. So this is why I'm happy we're having this chat, because the audience needs to hear this.
And I'll just also add something quickly to that is don't be afraid of finding out to that point, because I think that that's something that's real. Because it also, I think sometimes what I hear single women say is, I don't want to address certain things because then, what if it deters men? And what I would say to that is, that's protection. Because imagine you end up not finding out or asking the questions that need to be asked, finding these things out, and now that person is also signing up for something that they never knew about, right? So it allows you both to make informed decisions about what you want for your life. Absolutely. Is this person somebody who, through thick and thin, if you're able to have children or not, will they be content being with you? Come on. Or are they just there for what you can give them? And it's valid both ways. If maybe they do want children, shouldn't be held against them. It's just, what are you signing up for?
Exactly.
That's
wow. Thank you, Lee. I mean, I'm glad we spent a lot of time talking about sex. I mean, I'd love to go longer. Maybe I can ask 1 or 2 more questions before we wrap up. But that was needed. So thank you for that. That was really needed. Really, really needed. We talked a little bit about social media. How do you feel like social media has impacted the way people portray marriage, but also in your own marriages? Has that played a role? Comparison, things like that.
I can start. Don't follow me on social media.
Stop it. She really needs that.
I really need my husband and I, if you do follow us on social media, we don't post much. People always come to me, my close friends, how you doing? I really don't know how you're doing, because you never post online. You're not very public. And my husband and I made a kind of, I guess, a commitment to each other. We're going to keep our relationship private. We don't want the pressure and the attention of keeping up with the Kardashians or whoever. Keeping up with anybody's relationship, or even having that inch of comparison is so not what we need for our relationship. And it can be very damaging. For some relationships, constantly posting, and then you're looking at what other people are doing, or what they look like, or what position are they doing, or what are they interested in. It's a lot, and it's pressure, and we don't need that. So I think social media for a lot of people has become kind of like a comparison or a model that they need to follow. And every relationship is different, so that's not necessarily the case.
Social media and relationships. Oh boy. Because I do sometimes watch and, follow certain couples. Some of them are good, encouraging and stuff like that. Some of them bring positive feedback to people's relationships. But then again, there's the ones that have this illusion, and then 10 years down the line, you hear that they're separated.
Lord.
So then people have fell into that illusion that this is how a good relationship is. And then they're like, oh my goodness, I would never expect that person to fall apart or that relationship to fall apart because of what they show on film. Yeah. But I honestly, with me and social media, I may have a picture here and there showing certain like special moments that I feel that I want to show on social media. But I, as my mother, God rest her soul, she always told me that not everything should be out in the public.
True.
Yeah.
You have to keep some things quiet, private, where people can respect your privacy.
Yeah, I agree. And it's, for me, it's a little bit different because I am out there on social media, both consuming
we love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Great stuff.
But yeah, it is, something that has to be managed is what I would say. And being on social media, you have to be so mindful of what you consume. And so for me, I try my best to practice. Like if I am going to be in this space, I'm going to set the tone for my community. I'm posting so that I can share with you, not necessarily to have or take what you want to share with me. That's how I look at it. Because where I'm filled is not from what's on social media. I have people in real life. And that's why I'm like, get into community. Community is so important. Have people to pour into you, mentors in different areas, so that you're not disillusioned by what is online. That's you know what I mean? And even still, it is there. So I won't say, like I've got it all together. I've been through seasons where it's like, of course, comparison creeps in. And I wouldn't even necessarily say for relationships for me, because even with my relationship with Nick, certain things I do keep private. And I share with his consent. That's always, it has to be, like, we both have to be comfortable in order for me to share whatever I'm sharing. But then also, when it comes to, taking in what other people are doing, I think one of the areas I have fell into the trap, to be completely honest, is, so Nick is not necessarily a natural romantic. So sometimes I'll see like men, doing this or that for their wives, and I'm like, I wish that he would do that for me, to be honest. And I'll share it with him, but more so, my tone around that has changed, where it's like, if I do share something, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna debrief and be like, hey, not to compare you at all, but I saw this man do this for his wife, and I just thought, this is an example of what I would want you to do for me. And you can make your own twist on it, but I just appreciate this show of love. And he's like, okay, cool. So it's not in an accusatory way of like, look what he's doing, but you're not doing it for me. It's more so like ideas and a way that maybe a man can communicate to a man so he can see it in action versus me being like, you need to do this for me. So, but I am mindful. You have to be like, we all have to be so mindful of like comparison. And so if you are finding that it's affecting you, mute them. If you can't unfollow them because they're close in your vicinity, mute them or just delete, block, don't follow, don't consume.
I'm so glad that you shared that. I will say this. Love you, husband. That social media can be good for relationships, but there is a bad side to it. And I've been guilty of using it in a not good way, and I repent, and I apologize. But there's been times, and maybe you guys can relate, I don't know, be honest, you watching, let's see, where I'm upset at Shaq for whatever reason, and I find a video, and I send it to him. And I know it's wrong and you shouldn't do it. But it just goes to show that when you're consuming and what you're consuming, be careful of how you allow that to impact your marriage. Ladies, I wish we could continue the conversation, but I want to say thank you for coming to the Wives Table again. You all are instrumental to the success of season 1. So thank you so much. What I will say, stay tuned. Because there are some things coming that the Lord is saying, this is the time. He talks about community. He talks about gathering together. Look out for content coming around and events coming where we can gather as wives to have real, honest, raw conversation. Because it's coming. It's coming. And so once again, thank you for your yes. Thank you for your yes. I love you all. I will leave details below of how you can connect and follow these ladies. And until next time, y'all, stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Please share this video with someone that you think would benefit from it. Could be current wives, aspiring wives, or even husbands that are curious about what the wives are saying on the Wives Table. Please do share. Follow us. and leave a comment of what you want to see us talking about here at the Wife's Table. We love you. And season 1, y'all, it's a wrap.